Hello, Shakil.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good evening.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Okay, any question on our yesterday's
Oh, it
batch?
was Ashwani that said hello to me earlier. Sorry, Ashwani. Hi, Ashwani.
Uh, it's fine. Yeah.
Cool. Any question on yesterday's lecture?
No, sir. From my side, I didn't get time to do the practice. But yeah, I'm trying to do it.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, try to practice it, because otherwise we'll start lagging.
Yeah, it's like weekdays and
Yeah,
off
I
days and
understand.
other things.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, will do.
Okay, so now,
Yeah, sir. I just finished downloading the AWS CLI.
CLI. Okay,
Yeah, so we'll do some practice later tonight.
okay, great. Wait, I'm just logging into AWS console. Just a moment. It's asking for my MFA code. Just a moment, guys. I'm just logging in. 069. Okay, so I logged in. Sharing my screen. Okay, so what we discussed on yesterday. So yesterday we started looking at what is EC2 in the first place. That is where we spoke about EC2 being a virtual machine. EC2, it stands for Elastic Cloud Compute. Elastic Cloud Compute. And here, by using EC2, normally what companies does is companies hire certain space or certain virtual machine capacity from all the cloud vendors who are offering these virtual machines in their hardwares which is present in their data centers. And whatever we do, whatever applications we create, certainly require certain space, certain memory, and those space and memory is managed by using elastic block storage, which is virtual drive. Present is available virtually to us whenever we are using EC2. We'll talk about ELB and ASC in our upcoming sessions in very detail. Now, another thing is whenever you create EC2, we are going to create EC2 in few minutes now, wherein when we are creating, we'll use our AWS Management Console to create it. And when we are creating, it's going to ask operating system and CPU and RAM. But it's pretty much important for you to understand on what category do we have to decide, or do company decides on what sort of memory they need, or what sort of RAM they need, or what sort of storage they need. So there are various reasons, or there are various categories on which it's been divided. In order to show you, I'll just take you to a web interface which talks about EC2 sizing. EC2 sizing. EC2 instance types, if I talk about, and EC2 instance specifications, if it says about. So now EC2 instance types. So it's EC2 instances are basically divided into various categories: for general purpose, for compute optimized, for memory optimized, for accelerated computing, for storage, for HPC, which is high performance computing, So basically, in these categories, these instances are created. These instance class are defined. Each class talks about different category. For example, the one which we are going to use in our demo session or in free tier session will be the T class of instances. So T class instances are general purpose of instances which we use for testing purposes. So now in general purpose, in these are the purposes of EC2 instances. It's not that important to know, but yes, it's good if you know about it. So general purpose is used to balance compute and memory and networking resources. So this is a kind of proper balance by means of which all the networking resources, compute resources, memory resources, which you are going to use, which you are going to pay on demand, will be allocated to you from the data center, which is maintained by cloud vendors. Same goes to other classes also. So based on what you need, based on what exactly your application's requirement is, company selects these instance types. So it's basically the responsibility of architect, not DevOps engineer, responsibility of architect to understand requirement of an application, and based on application's requirement, then decide which class of instances they should create, because each class do have certain cost incurred. If you are creating another classes like C class or M class, which is M class is memory optimized, C class is compute optimized, R class is RAM or storage optimized. Each of the class do incur certain cost, and sometimes it gets very expensive if you are just creating it and not using it properly. It goes very expensive to organizations. So selecting proper class of EC2 instances is very much important, and is entirely responsibility of a solution architect. Okay, so this is about the compute power cores. So cores is nothing but the CPU which you're getting. It is defined in its unit as cores. So it could be one core, two core, three core, four core, zero point 0.5 core also, based on which class or which type of instance which you are going to use. In our cases, which we are going to use, I'll show you it will be perhaps one core or two core, because we don't need much intensive virtual machine for our demo purpose. Because in case it's not as in we cannot create, we can create, but again, if we are creating, it will be expensive for us. We are going to use the free tier one, and free tier we get either one core or two core one, which is enough for our lab purpose. How much storage space we are going to allocate. So by default, what AWS says is, AWS says that by default, I'll allocate you 8 GB of memory. 8 GB of memory by default it allocates, and it associates to our EC2 instances. But again, in case if you want to increase it, in case if you want to just increase it from 8 to 32 GB, you can do that. Network cards, you need public IP addresses, you need private IP addresses. Everything is allocated to you. Now, as you know, each of the public IP, and you, Ashwini, being a networking guy, you will understand it. Being a public IP is costly. Public IP incurs certain cost, because with public IP you are capturing one IP which is in the range of all the IP which is allocated to this globe at this point of time. So we have very limited number of IPv4 available across the globe at this point of time, which ISPs are offering. So ISP purchases from their senior hierarchy, whoever maintains those IP addresses, and then it allocates to their customers. And that is why we are paying to our routers, whatever comes to our home when we are accessing internet on top of it, because each IP incurs certain cost. When we are using creating EC2 instances, we will also get one IP addresses, and that is where AWS charges us. But again, till the time we are in limit, we no need to worry. Again, on top of that, we need to think about firewall rules. We need to think about security group, because any of the instance which you are creating should should have some applications on top of it, should have some applications deployed on EC2 instances. Because what AWS says, by using EC2 instances, I'm going to offer you one infrastructure as a service, one IaaS, not applications. It's your responsibility, being a user, being a customer, to manage your own application. So it will be your responsibility to manage firewall also, which will prevent your applications access from outside world, your applications access. So there are two-way access, always. Your application, who is going to access your application, and your application will be accessing which all accounts, which all other applications. So two-way traffic will always be there on any of the application which we create, which we just configure on our EC2 instances. So it is our responsibility, being a customer, to manage those firewall rules, and the service for which we use to maintain those firewall rule on EC2 instance level is security group. We'll talk about that also. Next is
You
boot.
said, sorry, you said for security rules, one, it's who's going to access the application, and what was the second one?
Your application will be accessing which all other applications. It might
Okay.
happen that your application is trying to access some applications, which could
Is
be
this
malicious.
the role that we discussed yesterday?
No, no, it's not the role. Its role is something different. I'm not talking about your application or your EC2 trying to access another service within AWS. It might happen that your application is trying to access some other application which is malicious. For example, I'll give you one simple example. Normally, what developers while write their code, they use some public library. Now, in order for that public library to work, those public library reaches to internet and tries to pull some patches, tries to pull some configuration, which could be harmful, because who knows, some malicious bug could be present in those patches. And as these patches tries to download this, along with the patches, it brings those malicious bugs also, which could be harmful for your application. So it's what I spoke about role is to allow access in between services, which is managed within AWS realm, within AWS control, which is in AWS's control. Security group is not about that. It's about allowing your application to access services which is outside your AWS's control.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Cool. So now, any other doubt till here?
All
Cool.
good, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So you defined some classes. Where are the description for that?
Yeah, it
C
is.
class, E class, like that.
So I can just share that also with you. So for example, if I go to general purpose, a very good documentation by AWS. You see, these classes are there, these families are there, M family is there, and T family is there. M is for memory, and these are the classes to which we call as there are. See how much memory you are getting, 384 GB, but these are very expensive. M524 large. You are getting 96 CPU cores as 48, which is huge, very big. So yeah, these are the classes.
Okay, so we need it when we're defining the resources to the client.
Yes, right. I'll show you in a few minutes. I'll show you.
Okay, and one more point, sir. You said EC2 is a infrastructure as a service.
Yes.
But in the slide, it is showing we are offering platform as well, like the Windows or the Mac OS.
These are the again, you have to select this. It's not as in they are just saying, okay, fine, when you are creating this EC2 instance, I give you these many options, but it's your responsibility. It's our responsibility being customer to select this. What is platform as a service? In platform, they decide. Vendor will decide and we'll just use it. we'll just use to perhaps write code. For example, I'll give you a very simple example. Consider that
Okay, we are offering to the customers we are providing these two options. You can select anyone.
right, right. They're offering you. They're
Okay.
not just pre-allocating
Okay.
everything and giving everything in a
Right.
virtual machine manner. No, they're offering you. So a
Okay.
kind of
Yes.
menu will be there. You will see it. You will see it in a few minutes. Any other question? Okay, cool. So now let's talk about hands-on and let's launch our instance. So in order to launch instance, what you will do is you will go to search. In search, you type EC2. As you type EC2, the first option which opens in front of you is EC2. As you click on this, but you have to be careful, okay? I mean, don't just go beyond your free tier, set up budget whenever you are using, like the way I said yesterday, any of the service or any of the resource which we are going to use incurs some cost. So you have to be careful. Set up budget if you did not set up before creating this, and then create this. Now, when you when you come to this page, another thing which it looks for is instances running. We'll talk about auto scaling group and others. Instances running. As of now, it's 0 because I don't have anything running at this point of time. So I click on this. Now it says it gives me an option to launch instance. Launching basically means creating instance. Instance is nothing but one uh, one uh, one count, I can say one count of elastic cloud compute service. One count of virtual machine is called one instance. So it says launch instances or instance. I can create one or many, doesn't matter. So I click on launch instances. And the first thing which it's asking me is, what is the name of the server? It's asking me to give a name of the server. So I'll give a name, my demo instance. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll choose. Now you see the menu. Now I gave the name. I can give other tag also. Say in case if you want to give some other tag. So name which it accepts is a tag. You can give other tag also. Maybe I can just write application, name of the application name, project, name of the project name. I can write that also, but at this point not needed. So now again, it offers me all these operating systems to choose from. It offers me Amazon Linux, Mac, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, SUSE, Debian, and many other are there. Now, to begin with, what I'll do is I'll choose Amazon Linux, first of its type, Amazon Linux. Now, as I choose this, again, it's asking, okay, fine, what exactly your Amazon Linux kernel type is going to be. I say 2023. There are many other options also. Amazon Linux 2 LTS with SQL Server standard. You see? So basically, in case if it sees with SQL Server 2019, that basically means SQL Server 2019 is installed. SQL Server is a database server, which is pre-installed there, which comes pre-baked with this instances. I don't need that. I need a normal one. I need a generic one. So I'll take this, the first one, the one it's coming. Now, again, it says description. It talks about that. And then it says, okay, fine. What is the architecture? So architecture, which it's offering me at this point is 64-bit x86, which is okay. That is the most advanced one, I believe, in operating system at this point of time. Even with Windows 11, you will see x86 64-bit comes. Now, it is offering this. What is this operating system? Is it actually offering me 3 GB, 4 GB of operating system software? Because when you install any operating system in your machine, let it be Linux. Linux is approximately the smallest Linux operating system size is 3.5 GB. Smallest Windows operating system size is approximately 7 GB, I believe. So these are huge, but if it's consuming that much memory in my machine, then perhaps it will be too costly for me because it's offering by default, like the way I said, it's offering 8 GB only, and with each GB increase in size, AWS is going to charge customers. So instead, AWS says is I won't offer you all the 3 GB of memory, memory contained contained operating system. Rather, I'll give you everything in an image format. You see, it's image. So AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image. AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image, and this is the image. So this basically what you're seeing here, which AWS is offering you as an operating system, is an image, Amazon Machine Image. Each of the images having one unique ID. This ID will change from one region to another region. In Asia Pacific Mumbai, AMI ID for this is this. Perhaps for another region, it will be different. So AMI ID is the ID of Amazon Machine Image, and it depends on operating system which I'm using. If I change the operating system from AWS to Mac, you see things will change. This AMI ID changed from one operating system to another because the image is different and the configuration of image is different. So based on which image I'm choosing, its IMI ID will vary. Based on region also it varies. When it's the last it was published on 17th November, which is very latest one. This is the last one which it's published. The default username for this AMI ID, which is already created by AWS, is EC2 user. So this is by default user, which is already created. One user already is created in this virtual machine, which will be created by using this AMI, which is Amazon Machine Image. Now let's scroll down. Again, this is the one I was talking about, class and family. So now here it says the one which you are going to create is a T2 micro, which is family is T2. It is giving only one virtual CPU core, 1 GB memory, which is the RAM, and current generation is true. This much it's going to cost, but it is free tier eligible. So you have to be careful. You have to choose only those instance type which is free tier eligible, because you are in free tier eligible category at this point of time. So yes, you have to choose this only to use T2 micro. So in many other places, we don't have T2 micro available. So in case if T2 micro is not available, then T2 nano also is free tier eligible. So if I click here, let's see if T2 nano is here. It's not. So only one T2 nano is here, but this is not free tier eligible in my region. In region where T2 micro is not available, in that case, in those regions, T2 nano is free tier eligible. So you have to select that. Any doubt, any question till here?
Can we change the region to get the T2 nano?
Yes, we can do that, but that's not needed. See, T2 nano size is even lesser than a T2 micro, and it is just the configuration. For example, I purchase a laptop which is having 512 GB memory. You purchase a laptop which is 1 TB memory. Doesn't matter, right? So it is just the configuration which is changing. So if it's not this, then you will get this.
Okay.
Any other question?
Does it make any impact if we are changing the region in EC2 instead of our local region? Like locally, if we say India is Asia Pacific, and for
Um,
EC2, I would select US or other regions to
it
get.
was once, right? It was once, but now AWS advanced a lot. I remember by the time it came up, there were lots of performance issues. Say in case if you do have EC2 created there in EU West region and your customers are basically based out of India, traffic was going out across all the world and then was accessing applications. But now it's much more advanced. We have cached location, we have CloudFront, which is enabling performance. But still, if the application is too heavy, if lots of customers are trying to access, then we encounter some very minute, perhaps in milliseconds, performance issues, latency in applications access. So it does, but it's negligible at this point.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Sir, which one you said is smaller, nano or micro?
Nano is smaller. Okay, so now let's move on. Now, next is key pair login. So key pair is like a kind of secret, is a kind of key which allows you to log in. So by default, AWS is offering you one user, which is EC2 user, but it does not give me any password to log in. To log in any of the virtual machine, we need both username and password. So this key is a password to log in into any of the virtual machine which I'm creating. Now you have to be you have to secure this key pair properly, because anyone who has access to this key pair will be able to log in into your virtual machine. So now if the virtual machine is up and running provided. So yes, you have to just, this key pair is like a password. Now what I'll do, I'll create a new key pair. In order to create a new key pair, first thing which it's asked is enter key pair name. So I'm going to give my first key, and it is encrypted RSA or ED to 25519. This is encrypted one. So these are encryption policies. RSA one is the most famous one. Next is you want to have the private key file format in .pem format or .ppk format. So now these two formats varies on which operating system or which version of Windows you are using at this point of time. .pem works well with Mac, with Linux, with Windows operating system 10 and above 10. PPK works well with Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10 also. Now with Windows 10 Pro, Windows 11, we have more advanced softwares within it, which wherein we don't need .ppk format of key pair anymore. Wherein previously, I think anyone who is having working experience they're in Linux machine, and they know that there is a software called PuTTY as a software. With that PuTTY software, we used to connect to any of the Linux machine by putting in their IP address, by allowing port 22 and all, which I'll show you in our demo also. I'll show you both the format .pem and .ppk, how to connect to both. But in nowadays, since we do have more advanced machines, Windows 11 and advanced formats of Shell and Mac operating system machines, we don't use .ppk anymore. It's trivial. So .pem is widely used one. .ppk can be used with Windows 10, Windows 11 also. So now let's choose .pem format at this point and create key pair.
So you said
Now
PAM is used for Mac?
Mac operating system, Linux operating system, and Windows 10 and above operating system.
Okay. And the other one, PPK?
PPK is for Windows 7, anything which is below Windows 10. We can use PPK.
And I didn't understand this. One is used for SSH, one is used for PuTTY.
Both can be used for PuTTY. So
Okay.
what happens is PuTTY. What is PuTTY? PuTTY is a software. We'll
Yes.
download PuTTY. So with PuTTY accepts some key, because PuTTY is never going to ask you the password. PuTTY accepts some key, and you have to just import and upload the key there in PuTTY, so that with PuTTY you will be able to log in. So with PuTTY, if you're using PuTTY, that PuTTY will be accepting file format, key pair file format, which is in .ppk. Now, .pem can also be used with PuTTY, no doubt with that. But in that case, you have to convert .pem by using a keygen software, PuTTY keygen software. I'll show you that. But in short, PuTTY you will use if you are using Windows operating system, which is below version 10. With version 10 and version 11, already in Windows, we have a software installed which we call as OpenSSH. With OpenSSH, your PowerShell is efficient enough to execute SSH command. You will be able to execute that command in your PowerShell. But again, if you are more comfortable using PuTTY in Windows 10, Windows 11, it's not as if Windows 11 and Windows 10 will not allow you. They will allow you, but since more advanced features are coming in Windows 11 and 10, nobody uses it. But you can.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So now what I've done, I've created it, and as I created it, I downloaded it. So what I did is I have downloaded it. Where did it go? So I have downloaded, you see, my first key.pem. So I have downloaded it. This is the first one. So now I downloaded. Next is network settings. In network settings, for now, I'll just give you a very high level overview. It says auto assign public IP. What it is, it basically means, it is going to automatically assign a public IP to my instance by using which I'll be accessing it. Another thing which it's asked me to do is create security group and select existing security group. I won't choose select existing security group. I'll select the option as create security group. Now I do have already security group created, and in few minutes I'll come to that, because that is a topic which you need to understand very nicely, because security group is something about firewall. So for now, I'm going to create a security group. Now, I do have a couple of security group created. That is the reason it's coming launch wizard 2. But when you are creating it, since it will be the first of type security group which you are creating, it will be launch wizard 1. So we'll create a new security group called launch wizard 2 with the following rules. Now security group is like a firewall. Any of the firewall which you are accessing, which you have accessed in past, works because of certain rules which is defined. What type of rules it's defined here? What kind of, say for example, if I'm installing a firewall in my Windows, it also works on certain rules. Which sort of IP will be allowed to move out from my machine to and reach to internet? Which type of IP will be allowed to reach to any of the application which is hosted on my laptop? Different types of IPs or different types of rules you can define it. For now, I'm going to define only two rules. First one is allow SSH traffic from. So basically what I'm doing, I am allowing SSH traffic from my laptop or from the virtual machine which I'm creating at this point of time, so that only anyone who wants to access any application hosted on my virtual machine which I'm creating at this point of time will be able to access over SSH protocol. SSH stands for secure shell. It is a networking protocol. So networking protocol, like the way I understand, any of the networking protocol enables us to access any other application over OSI model of networking, which is like all the various layers of OSI model it follows. SSH is one of the model or one of the layer in that OSI model. Now, first rule which I'm choosing is any of the application which wants to access, or any other user who wants to access application hosted on my virtual machine, traffic will be allowed by using SSH protocol. This is first of the protocol which I'm choosing. Second one which I'm going to choose is allow HTTP traffic from the internet. So that basically means I will be able to access application which is hosted on my virtual machine by using HTTP traffic. HTTP traffic, can anyone say me what is the port number of HTTP, especially networking guys?
443. Sorry, HTTP 80.
80, absolutely right. Yes. HTTPS is 443. HTTPS works on port number 80 and SSH works on port number,
22.
what is that?
22.
22, absolutely. So SSH works on port number 22 and HTTP works on port number 80. So it's basically allowing access on two different ports by using two different protocols, SSH on port number 22 and HTTP on port number 80. So this is the two rules I set to my security group firewall. Scrolling down, and you see configure storage. At this point of time, I am allocating
Uh,
8 GB.
Sorry, sir. Sir, why we are selecting HTTP traffic?
I'll show you, because by this demo, I'm going to demonstrate you by hosting one application on this instance, and that application will be accessible over internet, and I want to use HTTP protocol for that. So this is a part of my demo,
Okay, not HTTPS.
not HTTPS. I'm not securing it.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So now, and the storage which I'm allocating it is 8 GB memory, which is of GP3 type. It's a type of hardware which is getting allocated. By default, since you are free tier eligible, you will get 30 GB of EBS general purpose SSD or magnetic storage free of cost without incurring any charges. Now, after I selected this, and I'm not changing this, it remains by default. You too, I'll suggest not to change it.
Sir, have you already not selected the storage?
It was pre-selected. I did not select it.
Okay.
So when I opened, it was already there.
Yeah, here on the right side, in under summary, it already has 8 GB. The storage volumes 1 GB on the right side of the screen under some.
Yeah, that is where you see configure storage. So this was pre-allocated, and quite the same thing it's showing here in summary.
Okay.
And like previously, we have selected 1 GB for micro micro.
That is like RAM. So whenever you purchase any laptop, it is having RAM, random access memory, and second is hardware storage. So this is RAM, 1 GB memory, and this is the hardware.
Okay, so this is RAM.
Yeah, this one is RAM. 1 GB.
And what is the capacity for free tier for RAM? Is it because storage we can see 8 GB on the right side. What is the RAM capacity that we get as a free tier?
Whatever it comes in free tier eligible. See here, it is only in this it's written free tier eligible. So this is the capacity. If you're choosing anything else, it is not free tier eligible. They will start charging you.
Okay, we use it. It means.
So you just determine by seeing this free tier eligible.
1 gig memory, and where is the storage?
This is the storage EBS.
No, in the micro section.
You mean the hardware storage?
No, you just showing no. Yeah, T2 micro. Where is the storage? 1 GB is the memory. So where is the storage? Yeah.
So AWS offers, whenever you create this, AWS offers it as a package. So it in a compute. So there are two parts in this instance. First is compute package. In compute, you're getting this. In hardware, you're getting this. So it's nothing comes, everything there in the image. That is the image. What you're getting 1 GB memory and 1 virtual CPU is an image. On top of that, it's offering you 8 GB, which gets associated to the virtual machine when it gets created. So it is a package.
Sir, I'm still confused. This one says storage, 8 GB.
Yes.
But you said this is RAM. So
no. This 1 GB is RAM. See here, by default, you are getting 1 GB memory, 1 virtual CPU, which comes in the image. So here you have selected image. So with this image, you are getting 1 virtual CPU, 1 GB memory, which comes with the image. But you cannot work only with 1 GB memory. So what AWS says is I provide you on top of your random access memory, which is 1 GB, extra 8 GB to use. And this acts as your storage.
This is a storage.
This is storage, like hard disk.
So where is the RAM?
This is RAM.
You said we also selected 8 GB of RAM.
No, 1 GB of RAM. So with the image of T2 micro, you get 1 virtual CPU and 1 GB memory. This is RAM.
So how much RAM do we have so far?
1 GB.
Only 1 GB.
Only 1 GB. And this is your hard disk.
Okay.
And you can extend it up to 30 GB.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'll go all the way to bottom. All the values remains default by now. And I'll go all to the way bottom to user data. Now under user data, what user data is one-time script which runs only once in the life cycle of instance. Only once. So it's a script which runs as your instance launches. As your instance starts running, you want to install some software so that your virtual machine is ready to host the application. So I do have a script for that. So let me just walk you through this script quickly. This is a bash script. In this bash script, what I'm doing is I am executing a command which will update all the packages. For example, when we purchase Windows or when we purchase our Android phone, what we do is we refresh it. By refreshing it, we are updating all the packages which is already present and bring it to latest memory. Even your Android phone asks you to update application packages or application version to latest every time when you go to Play Store. By updating it, what we are doing is we are just updating all the packages, all the packages which is already present in my virtual machine. So virtual machine doesn't come as a kind of scratch pad. It is already having some applications or some softwares installed. By using the first command, I'm updating that. What is yum? Yum is a package manager. So in Linux machine, based on different distribution of Linux machine, you get a package manager for different. For example, in Linux, we do have multiple distributions. So just to give you some example, in Linux, we do have different distributions, such as we have we have Ubuntu, we have Ubuntu, we have Red Hat Enterprise Linux, we have Debian, we have Debian, we have CentOS, we have Amazon Linux, Amazon, different distributions are there for Linux machine. In Ubuntu, the package manager is called apt. In Red Hat Enterprise Linux, it's called yum. In Debian, it's same as Ubuntu apt. These are the package managers. Like in Mac, we have Brio. In we don't we in case of Windows, we have Chocolatey. So different packages managers are there who helps us to install some software by by executing commands on our command line interface. In CentOS, we have same as Red Hat Enterprise Linux, yum. In Amazon Linux also the package manager is yum. So these are just the package managers. So I'm using package manager yum to install all the packages which is pre-installed in my Amazon Linux machine. Once I did that, next I'm installing a software which is HTTPD. After I install this software, I'm starting the software and even enabling the software. After I do this, I am executing one echo command. So now echo command is again a Linux command by using which I'll be able to just pass perhaps some text into a file. Like in case if I have to pass a text into a file which I'm creating in Windows, I don't have any other options than opening the notepad and then putting in those contents. But in case of Linux machine, in Windows also by using PowerShell, we can do that. But there are some different scripts for that. In case of Linux, we can use echo command. By using echo command, we'll be able to pass some text into a into one file. What is the file I'm using for that? Index.html. So what I'm saying is, now whenever you write script, what is the first thing which you write? Hello world. So that's what this script is doing. It is writing hello world from, and it's executing a command. So host name is a command which is used in Windows or Linux. It's used in Windows also. For example, if I open my PowerShell, I think it should work on PowerShell also. So in PowerShell, if I type the command host name, you see it gives me the name of my host. What is the name of my host? It's a command. So what I'm doing is by using this script, I'm executing a command on Linux machine without even logging into Linux machine and pulling in the detail of host and passing the detail into a file which is with the name index.html, right? So in this script, what I'm doing, step one, it is updating all the existing packages which is present in this machine. Next, installing a software which is with the name httpd, starting the software, enabling the software, and then running a script by using which I'm executing a hello world command, and hello world saying from the name of the host, which will be just the name of the host, which is allocated by AWS, and passing on into a file which is index.html, right? This is what the script is doing. Don't worry, we'll see much more about script. This is just very basics of all the time. Now, after putting in all the details, I'm just going to hit on launch instance. Now let's hit on launch instance.
Sir, I didn't understand the purpose of index.html.
Index.html is like HTML. What is HTML? HTML stands for hypertext markup language. So any of the package which you want to host on website is in HTML format. Like different file formats are there. HTML is the file format which we write to host any content of the file to internet. What my main purpose is to demonstrate you some application over internet, which I'll be accessing by using my virtual machine IP address to see it more lively. Now, by using that index.html, let me just open that script again. By using that index.html, what I'll be doing is this command which I wrote by using echo will be displayed, will be accessible over internet by using HTTP protocol, which you'll be seeing in few minutes. So the main purpose of
Okay.
creating index.html is to display the content, the output of this command over internet.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Cool. So now let's go. So instance is ready. Now you see
So
instance is
is there any full form for HTTPD?
no, there is no. It's a
Oh,
software name.
like HTTP is okay, but D is out of my syllabus. If
No,
I'm
no,
comparing with HTTP protocol, it is matching.
no, no. HTTPD is just a software. It's not a protocol.
Okay, it's a software. Okay, fine.
Yes, sir. What software?
It's a software which allows us to host a web server basically. So we are
Okay.
we are just creating a web server on our virtual machine by using this software.
Okay, got
Like in case of Windows, it's MSI. I think yeah. In Windows, I believe it's
In most of the scenarios, sir, I've
MSI.
seen this syntax related to the services in the HTTPD.
Sorry, I did not get your question.
I
I
didn't
know
hear. I didn't hear you, Baba.
HTTPD usually refers to, I mean, on some of the Linux commands I've seen, it's related to services, I think.
No, HTTPD is a web server. So you see,
Okay.
HTTPD software. Oh, sorry, HTTP I wrote.
It is showing something like Apache HTTP server
Yeah,
daemon
yeah,
on
yeah.
Red Hat.
This is what it is. So it's a Apache HTTP server project in an effort to develop and maintain an open HTTP software for modern operating system. And what is the use of HTTP? Most popular web server, you see. So Apache HTTPD is Apache HTTP server, which is also known as HTTPD, is a web server on the internet, and it's accessible since April 1996. So it's a web server in short. Any
Okay.
other question?
So we are installing a web server on the
Virtual
Amazon
machine
Linux platform, and then we can connect it to the web
to,
applications via
to the
this.
via internet HTTP protocol. Yes.
Okay,
Okay. So now let's see it quickly
thank you.
if it has done its job or not. It did not do its job. Let's understand why it did not do its job. Or sometimes it takes some time. So now let's first go over this. Perhaps it's trying to initializing, you see. I think it's still working. Let it complete its initialization. Suppose that will come back again. I see it's rotating and it's timed out. Now the first thing which it gave me when so instance is created, instance is launched. You can see instance state is running, status check is initializing, two of two checks passed. And let's see if it is doing its job now or not. Still no, we'll see that. Why? So the first thing which it has done is instance ID, which we got. Next thing is public IPv4 address, which again we got public IPv4 address, which is the IP. Since I have enabled allocation of public IPv4, it has just allocated one public IPv4 address to me. On top of that, Amazon also allocates one private IPv4 address. So there are two things: public IP address, private IP address. Private IP address is like, for example, private IP address is, if I love to just create one analogy, I know it's very layman analogy, but private IP address could be your nickname, which is which someone who is very closer to you, which is very private to you, will be calling you by. That is private IP address. Public IP address is like your phone number, which anyone can have and can perhaps reach out to you. So public IP address is something which you are more comfortable sharing publicly, and private IP address is something which is very private to you. Public IP address, it's your address which is accessible over public, and private IP address is your address which is known only by some very close person of yours. So both the addresses are allocated to this virtual machine at this point of time. Instance state is running, and DNS is domain name server, which will let us see. And one thing which is important to check here is, out of the many things, status and alarm, we'll talk about that later. Security. Now this security is recognized by security group, and this is what I was talking about. Now let's see, since this is not accessible.
So it's working now.
It's working now. You saw it?
I mean, I'm able to.
Okay, cool. So now let me just take the details, copying public IP. And I think it took some time.
I think by default it is yeah.
Yeah, right. So I think it took some time for it to host and to configure everything internally. So now you see it's accessible, and you will also be, our friend is able to access it. So even you will be able to access it by just taking this IP address, right? So now what's happening? I just hosted one application there, which is which is accessible over internet by using which protocol? By using these two protocols, which is HTTP. Actually, this is accessible by using HTTP protocol only, and not by using SSH protocol, since I'm exposing it by using port number 80. Now, if I change it and if I make it HTTPS:// and if I hit enter, you see it will keep rotating. It will keep rotating. If it's keep rotating, and it will time out in few minutes, because this is not secure. I did not allow port number 80. I allowed only, sorry, I did not allow port number 44, 443 or HTTPS protocol. I allowed port number 80. So it will keep rotating now. And in few minutes, it will time out. Like the way you can see, it's timed out. But it's accessible only on port number 80, which is by using HTTP protocol. So this is the way you will be able to create and make your instance run. Any doubt till here? Okay. But again, if you'll keep your instance up and running for a longer period of time, it will be expensive. It will incur certain cost. So what you have to do, you have to understand how to stop your instance, start your instance, but we covered everything there. So we have launched our first instance, high level approach to various parameters. Web server is launched, and the last part is we will learn how to start, stop, and terminate our instance. So now you know how to start your instance. Next thing is you should understand how to stop this instance. Now, when you stop this instance, what happens? Can you see? Can you make a note of this public IP? Yeah, okay, it's already here. So this is the public IP, which is with HTTP and hence not accessible. So let me just copy the public IP again and make it accessible. Okay, now it's accessible. Now I'm going to stop it. In order to stop, I just selected the instance and then clicked on this instance state. And you have an option to stop instance, reboot instance, and terminate instance. Let's first reboot instance. So I'm just going to reboot. I just rebooted instance. As I rebooted instance, nothing changed, just perhaps the instance is restarted. Now, if I come and if I refresh the page, perhaps it's going to take few more seconds because I have just now rebooted it for all the configurations to launch again, but nothing changed on my either public IPv4 address or private IPv4 address. Nothing changed. In few minutes, this will launch even. Like the way you can see, this roller coaster stopped, and now we do have this application available. Now I'm going to stop it. Stop the instance. Now I'm going to skip the OS shutdown and just going to stop it. It's stopping. Now, what is the advantage of stopping? As you stopped, now what happened? As you stopped, clear filter, and as you stopped, it's stopping, let it stop. It takes few seconds. You see it released the public IPv4 address. It's not there anymore. So now public IPv4 address is blank. So now what I said is AWS charges you based on for how long you're holding that IPv4 address. You have released it. So now AWS will stop charging you. AWS will hold your backend storage device, but AWS won't charge you anymore on this instance because you have stopped it and you have released public IPv4 address. Now the way to stop is just select the instance state and hit on stop instance option. Now in order to start, again you click on this and hit on start. Now it's pending. It takes few seconds, approximately 15 to 20 seconds for instances to come up. What I basically want to show you is as you stop and start back your instance, AWS changes something for you. Now you see it changed. I mean, it started running, but see your public IPv4 address. This is different this time. So when you stop and start your instance, your public IPv4 changes because this time, for the last time when you ran, you 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 ran your application, and as you stopped you released the public IPv4 address, and for the next time when you started, whatever available IP address AWS had, AWS assigned it to you, and AWS will start again will again start billing you on the IPv4 which it's allocated. Now it's just the same because just the public IP address changed and not the private IPv4 address, because that for that AWS is not going to charge you. That is something private to this networking configuration. It's absolutely free of cost for you. Okay, so now
Sir, so since private IP address is also provided by the AWS, it never changes?
no, it never changes.
Okay.
For the till this instance remains up and you don't terminate it, you do not completely delete this instance, this
Oh,
IPv4 address remains
okay, okay.
associated.
And then, so we only release the public IP address when we stop the EC2.
Yes.
We don't release any resources that like the EC2, all the resources that we were using for EC2. Like,
No. Yeah, I understand what you're asking about. No, we don't. Just the public.
okay. So just by stopping, we were releasing IP address, not releasing the resources. So our config and everything remains with the AWS.
Yes, like the way you saw when I stopped and started, still I do have this application hosted.
Okay, that's good. And we don't get charged as long as it stays stopped.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Just wanted to double check so I can remember. Thank you, sir.
Yep. So now at the end, so you started, you stopped. Now what is next? Say many times what happens is project shuts down and you don't need this instance anymore because you don't have any project, you don't need this virtual machine anymore. So what we do is we delete also this instance. I'm not going to delete it now. I'll keep it just up and running, or I'll just keep it stopped. But if you want to delete it, just skip OS or just OS shutdown also and click on this terminate. So that what it does is it is going to completely remove this instance for you. Or you want me to show it? I can show it to you, no problem. See, now it's shutting down.
Okay, once it is created and we terminate it, is it required further?
You will require it further because anyways you have to do
Uh,
demo, but you won't be able to reuse all the previous configuration which you had in this virtual machine. Everything is gone now. when it's shutting down.
Okay, in case it is using memory,
It will release memory.
storaging the memory, if it is not releasing, in case of stopping it, then we
While
can
stopping,
terminate it.
yeah, while stopping, it won't release. That is for sure. While stopping, it's going to capture you. It's going to secure your memory. But when you terminate it, everything is gone.
Okay.
Now everything is gone. Now if I refresh this, it's terminated. I lost everything. You see, I lost private IP, I lost public IP, everything. Whatever it was associated to this, I lost everything. So this is
No
how you
issue,
will.
we can create it later whenever required.
It's of no need to terminate. You just stop it
Okay, fine.
and
Stop it.
create always one instance. Don't create more than one. One instance,
Okay,
and when not in use, stop it. And
fine, sir.
for sure, set up the budget because that is very much important. Okay. Another quick thing. Any doubt?
So, sir, we
Can you?
can do this like as long as we're practicing, we can keep our EC2 up, and when we are done and we are not practicing, just stop it.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Sir, I need to drop. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I have a call now.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because we are going to end, I'll just give a few idea on what is the next topic we are going to talk about. So I won't take more than 2 minutes, guys. So next, what you are going to talk about is you saw about EC2 instances. Now, but it's very much important for you to understand how you will enable security on top of your EC2 instances. Because it's not only about the application which you are hosting, it's also about how you are ensuring that your application is secure by any malicious attack, by any external attack, by enabling certain level of firewall. Security group allows you to set up that firewall. Security group allows you to set up that network security, like the name says, a group which enables security on top of EC2 instances. Security group is meant only to secure your compute services. It could be EC2 instances, it could be load balancer, it could be auto scaling group, whatever is offering you some sort of compute services. Like it's offering you a KVM, keyboard, which visual or video, and mouse. Normally we use the term KVM to talk about compute services. So security group is specifically to secure your compute services. Now, whenever you have to secure your compute services, your let's say laptop, you want to just secure what you will say, which websites are opening. So what you feel bit concerned of by from your laptop, you don't want to open any website which can have some virus on it, or you don't want to click on any kind of pop-up which appears when you're opening any website, with a thought that if I click on those options, it will download some softwares which can harm my computer. And this is how hackers work. What hackers does is they just release some bug on any website, and that website could be anyone, in Facebook, in WhatsApp, any of the website. They just release some bug, and those bugs are very attractive, very fancy, and we with the thrust to know what that software is about, what that link is about, we just click on it, and as I do, it downloads some softwares on my laptop, which is very malicious, which is very harmful for our machine. Now, what this security group does, security group disables you to access certain websites. Security group disables the package to be downloaded from those websites into your machine. If somebody is trying to push some software to your machine, what somebody is doing, someone is trying to access your machine remotely, right? And that is where they're trying to push some software. So in any security group or any firewall, two kind of rules are defined: inbound rule and outbound rule. Inbound rule is the rule which takes care of, which applies firewall on inbound traffic, incoming traffic. Inbound stands for incoming, anything which can enter, which will allow access to your machine. and also to outbound rule. Outbound rule is the rule which is going to impose certain firewall, certain restrictions, certain security on top of the traffic which goes outside your computer. Which website you will be able to access? What is that? Outgoing traffic. Which website will be able to access your applications, your machine is incoming traffic. So this security group will enable firewall on both outgoing traffic, which is also known as outbound traffic, and incoming traffic, which is also known as inbound traffic. Now, security group only contain allow rules. It does not contain deny rules. By default, everything is denied. If you're not giving anything, like a few minutes back, I did not give HTTPS. I did not allow HTTPS. Henceforth, I was unable to access the website or application which I created on this instance by using HTTPS. I allowed HTTP. That is where I was able to access by using HTTP protocol only. So security group only contains allow rules and not deny, because by default everything is denied. So it's implicit deny. And as we allow, it will open up. Now, security group rules can reference to anything. For now, what I've done while I was creating, I've chosen the IP address. But by using security group, you can allow access to other security group also, which also we will see. So yes, what security group does? Security group is the networking configuration, is the firewall which is used to control inbound traffic, which is incoming traffic, and outbound traffic, which is outgoing traffic from your EC2 instance. By default, it is going to deny everything until unless you allow any protocol, you allow any IP, it won't be allowed. It won't be accessible from your machine or to your machine. Okay, this is about security group. Some theory, we'll talk about security group hands-on in our tomorrow session. Any question till here? Okay, I'll take that as a no.
Yeah, I'm good, sir.
Cool. So yeah,
Sir,
don't forget. Yeah,
just
go ahead,
one
please.
thing, not
Yeah.
not relevant to our syllabus. Just can I ask one thing? Like yesterday, I was facing some issues in my network. Okay, so basically, we created one VPN tunnel between Azure and the branch firewall. Okay, I just want to know, like, as I do not have access on Azure side. So on my side, I did some configuration. I created one logical interface on firewall and assigned one public IP on that tunnel interface.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure, do we need to add a similar configuration on Azure side as well? I mean, like that private IP, do we require to configure it as well?
Depends what you're trying to access in Azure.
Okay.
Are you trying to access anything, Event Hub or any service in Azure?
Yeah, that was a file share services port number 445.
Okay,
So
but
that architect confirmed, like he allowed my LAN network on Azure side.
mhm,
But I thought, because I also created one route which was pointed to that private IP, other next IP of the /30 network I created, and that next IP I mentioned in my route towards
okay,
Azure interface.
okay. So
But
I
that
think
VPN is up, but traffic is not passing through. So I suspect maybe he did not configure that private IP, but he's telling like not required to configure such configured on Azure side.
I need to see your architecture, but on a high
Okay.
level, I can say if
Mhm.
you're defining anything on your whatever service you do have outside Azure, if you're
Yeah.
defining anything, a couple of things should be there. If you want to access over internet, it will be accessible. There should not be much of the problem until unless your Azure firewall is blocking it. But if you want to have a private connection, there should be a private endpoint on whatever service you want to access by using your third party application and your whatever the private endpoint. Each of the private endpoint goes through some DNS configuration which we create in Azure. In that DNS also, that private endpoint IP should be configured or domain should be configured or should be defined. But yeah, if you can just, if it's okay, you can just share that architecture with me.
Yeah.
I'll just
Today
review
I
it.
have call with that architect, and maybe if it fixes, I can discuss
Sure,
tomorrow.
sure, sure, sure.
Okay.
Okay, then
Thank
thanks.
you.
Thanks for joining in. Let's again connect tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much, sir. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.